Hello again, this is Ross Gilbert from PTCGRadio, bringing you another PTCGO video using the Pokemon Official Online Client. Now I'm going to be using Darkrai Hammers again. If you haven't seen my little video against Blastoise for this, I'd encourage you to go back and have a quick look at that. Today I am once again playing my good friend Nick, and the reason I'm playing Nick is because, as anyone who uses the online program will know, it can be very difficult to actually find a good game on there. So I know Nick's using Eels. We arranged it all beforehand that he'd be using Eels, so I know that we're going to get Darkrai Hammers against Eels, and with Nick being a good player, it was likely we were going to get a good game. Should have recorded this commentary live, but I didn't, so there we go. Now, one of the downsides of my Darkrai Hammers list at the moment, I think I'm running 3 Darkrai, 3 Sableye, 2 Absol, and a Keldeo. 9 basics, and as you can see, I start with a mulligan. It's not a terrible opening hand. I've got an energy, I've got a dark patch, I've got an Ultra Ball to discard an energy, I've got a bicycle and a Juniper. He starts Lone Dynamo. Now I don't know if I can get the donk, but regardless, he starts and goes first, so there will be no donking here unless Nick has got the mother of all terrible hands. And as he says in the chat there, this is where you tell me you had the donk. Sorry Nick, I didn't actually have, well, I may have had the donk. With that hand there, you never know, it was possible. And he starts off with an N, so I don't even get that hand anyway. Now, Rayeels against Darkrai Hammers, I'm thinking, I don't know. In the same way as the Blastoise matchup, what you really want to do is get a good start. You want to try and get rid of their Eels, but Eels are much easier to kill than Blastoise. Without playing lasers, I'm not going to be one-hitting Rayquaza, because otherwise with him having a full bench, me having a Dark Claw and a Laser Verbank, I would actually be able to get the one-hit KO on Rayquaza. So that option's taken away from me. What I am able to do is potentially take away all of his Eelektriks and get rid of his Fire Energy with Crushing Hammer. And because generally Eels lists play 1 or 2 Super Rod, no Energy Retrieval, and only 4 or 5 Fire Energy, sometimes knocking that Fire Energy off can buy you a turn or two, in the same way Laser can. So he gets a couple of Dynamos out, he gets his Mr. Mime on the bench, which is going to annoy me greatly, because without Mr. Mime, I can get a Darkrai EX up, I can one-hit an Eel, and I can put 30 damage onto another Eel or a Dynamo, or even put 30 damage onto a Rayquaza, looking for the one-hit KO with an Absol. But of course, I don't. I can't, because he's got the bloomin' Mr. Mime out. Now what you will notice here is that first turn from him was amazing. He got his N, he played down his entire hand, and then he played a Tropical Beach. So I'm doing what I can here. I figure if I want to try and get an easy, cheap knockout, I might as well get it on Mr. Mime, because I'm only KOing one thing anyway. So I put the energy on Absol, I get the energy switch, but I don't get the dark patch, so I'm not going to get a turn 1 attack here. What I am able to do is retreat, and then I realise that I don't have a Darkrai EX in place, so I don't have free retreat. So I'm going to cancel that little retreat there, use the Ultra Ball to grab myself a Darkrai EX. Now I can lose the Enhanced Hammer, and I figure he's probably not playing any tools, so I can get rid of the Tool Scrapper. And then I can get my Darkrai EX out. Darkrai EX's Dark Cloak ability will then give my Absol free retreat, and I can then energy switch from the Absol onto the Sableye. I'm not getting my turn 1 KO on the Mime, which I really wanted, but I am getting my turn 1 Junk Hunt. It's not a terrible first turn. What I was really looking for there was, as I could only get 1 KO anyway, might as well KO the Mime, and then I can then set myself up for using Darkrai to spread a bit of damage, make the game a little bit easier for myself. But as you can see, I missed it all. I did waste a catcher with Mr. Mime, but the good thing about playing Sableye is that I can get that catcher back. Now, I figure I'll also get an energy switch, because next turn all I'm going to need to do is draw an energy, and I can be attacking with Absol. So next turn I'm planning to retreat the Sableye, energy switch the energy over, grab another energy, and off we go. Now, Nick's turn 1 was very good. He got those 3 Dynamos down. He also got a couple of, I think he got at least 1 Lightning in the discard as well. So he is on the verge of having a ridiculous start here. So he plays 2 level balls. gets 2 Eelektриks, which is not exactly what I was looking for him to do straight away, which means he can be starting to build up a Rayquaza very, very quickly. And actually, if he takes out my Sableye, it's going to be much, much more difficult for me to get that Absol up in one turn. I'll then need Dark Patch as well as my Energy Switch. It's going to be much more difficult. Now, he does use his Dowser Machine very, very early here. But of course, he's got no supporter, so he uses it to grab his N. Not only does he use it to grab his N, but he uses it to get Eelektrik in the discard pile. So, an early use of Dowsing Machine, but I don't think a bad use of Dowser Machine. My hand there, not brilliant, but certainly not terrible. I've got a second Darkrai, second Absol. I've still got the Energy Switch that I need. And I have got a Dark Claw as well. But of course, he gets his Floatstone out, and he's got his Rayquaza. That is a monster second turn there. All he needs is Rayquaza, a second Rayquaza with a Fire Energy, and an Eel, and he is looping those Rayquazas. It's absolutely crazy. So I'm on a bit of a clock here. I've got no energy on the board, but there are things I can work with there. I'll put the Dark Claw on the Absol. Probably won't make much difference, but I might as well put it down rather than just discarding it. Now, you will notice there he's now got a Mr. Mime with a Floatstone. That is very frustrating for me, because it means that for the rest of the game, he is going to have a free retreating attacker. Oh, not a free retreating attacker, sorry, but a free retreating Pokemon on his bench. Now, I really need that Tool Scrapper. Now, I don't hit an Energy Switch there. What I do hit is a double Dark Patch. So I can double Dark Patch onto the benched Absol. I put the Dark Claw there because I thought I don't really need the extra damage now, so put it on the bench in case I need it later. And after I've done that double Dark Patch, I'm going to be able to attach to the active and retreat. So you see here, even though he knocked all my energy off the board, my deck is running very, very well. The consistency of the deck is holding up, but his start was monstrous. And Rayeels, like in the last video I showed you with Blastoise, when it gets this good a start, it's a very, very difficult deck to beat indeed. And when it gets this good a start, the only real decks that can beat it are decks which are designed to beat it, like Klinklang, if the Rayeels player isn't playing Victini, or Gothitelle, or something like that. That's the kind of thing you're needing. Now, I have got my catcher here, which I junk hunted back, which is nice. So, I'm assuming I'm going to use that to knock out one of his Eels. I know that he is going to be looping that Rayquaza, and it's going to take me 2 turns to KO it, by which turn he might have another Rayquaza. So at this point, killing the Rayquazas isn't really doing anything for me, because he's likely to just be able to get them going, and I'm never going to win. So I figure, if I take out the Eels, he's going to get a few KOs. That is inevitable. This turn, he's almost certainly going to have the energy he needs, because he's got that free retreating Mime, because I was an idiot and got rid of my Tool Scrapper. I really should not have gotten rid of that. It was a bad misplay on my part. So I don't have the Tool Scrapper, so he's just going to be free retreating with that Mime all day, which means I take a KO, he can build up the Rayquaza on his bench, free retreat the Mr. Mime, and he's all settled. It doesn't force him into that annoying thing where he needs to put something active, but then he's going to have to try and get it out of the active. So, yeah, annoying. Now, he's definitely going to have enough energy there. All I can hope is that I can keep drawing my catchers, and I did junk hunt the one I used, so I've still only used one of my 4 catchers. This deck runs through the cards in the deck very, very quickly, so I'm figuring as long as I can keep hitting my catchers, I can probably run him out of Eels. Then I can just take a double KO on a Rayquaza, or 2-hit KO on a Rayquaza, and that'll get the game out for me. What I really need to do, though, is not be whiffing catches. But you'll notice there, I've got my random receiver. I'm going to have a supporter next turn. He gets another Dynamo down, but he's only got 1 Eel. So if I can capture and kill that Eel, and I've got an Absol on the bench with 1 energy, I've got an energy in hand. I'm going to be able to get that Absol going. If I can kill his only Eel, then he's going to need to get 2 Eelektriks out, and get his Rayquaza... he's going to need to get 2 Eels out, and he's going to have to attach from his hand in order to actually get that Rayquaza going. Oh no, he's not, sorry. But still, he's only going to be able to KO the Absol, not a Darkrai or anything like that. So I'm feeling moderately confident here. I know the Absol's going down, but if I can start building up that Darkrai, I'm feeling pretty confident. So, I look through my deck, see if there's anything I want to grab, because, again, all I need here is the catcher. So I grab a Sableye. The computer messes up a little bit. I grab a Sableye because I figure he's probably not going to waste any time capturing and killing it, and even if he does, he's getting himself closer to the win, but he's not ruining my setup. So one less card in the deck. I N for 6, and for 5, sorry, and I don't manage to hit my catcher. But that's alright, because I'm running 4 Bicycle in this deck. This deck is designed to go through the entire deck. So, I can Dark Patch onto Darkrai, make it nice and likely I've got a Darkrai next turn. Play the Bicycle for 1, and I hit another Bicycle. Play the other Bicycle for 1, and I hit a Dark Claw. Incredibly frustrating here. So I figure I'll put it on the Absol. So if at any point I do kill a Mr. Mime, I'm going to be able to 2-shot him with residual Night Spear damage on the bench to get 4 prizes in 2 turns. That's a long shot, but you never know. Now at this point, what I'm actually doing is I'm counting the cards that I've used. And I believe, if I remember correctly, I count up all the cards in my deck. So I've got 24 in my discard pile there, it looks like, plus all the ones in my hand and on the field. I believe I've gone through 37 cards in my deck, hitting that 1 catcher. But these things happen. At the end of the day, yeah, it's statistically likely that I would have hit the catcher, but you can't rely on that. The 3 catchers could be my last 3 cards. But I've put a lot of damage on that Rayquaza, so I'm not feeling too bad. I can catch and kill it later. Now, he catches up my Darkrai there, which I personally think is a little bit of a misplay. And the reason is, I've only got 1 energy on that Darkrai. I'm going to need a Dark Patch and an attachment, because there's no energy switch. If he kills the Absol, there'll be no energy on the field. So I think he should have just killed the Absol there, to make it less likely I'm going to have an attacker out next turn. Now, admittedly, he is then going to kill my Absol next turn, and then he'll be down to 1 prize, and I probably won't have a Darkrai going. But the point is, he's not taking my energy off the field. He is getting himself 2 more prizes, but firstly, that N in my hand is going to be rocking, and secondly, he's not really kind of doing anything. What is good there is that he misses the Eelektrik. My gamble paid off. I was killing the Eelektrik, and you see that he's got the Rayquaza, he's got the fighting energy, he's got the eel, he's got the energy in the discard, but he only has 1 eel. He can't Dynamotor as much as he wants. So my end doesn't put him down to 2, but he hasn't got the 2 prizes, so I'm cool with that. So I played a Crushing Hammer, I'm after his fire energy, I hit a Tails. But I do get a catcher here. Now, him missing the eels there really bought me some time nicely, because now it means either he kills the Absol, I've got a Darkrai next turn, or he kills the Darkrai, I've got an Absol next turn. I am going to have an attacker rolling next turn regardless, which I might not have been able to had he killed the Absol. Although, as you saw, he catched it for the Darkrai anyway. So I decide to take out his only remaining eel, because again, what I'm looking for here is to get rid of his energy acceleration. One of the ways you can beat eels is to get rid of all of their eels, slow them down enough, and ironically, he throws a Tool Scrapper out there, but I don't really need that Dark Claw, so it's certainly not the end of the world. He was probably just playing it to burn a card. But if I can get rid of all the eels, they can't accelerate energy fast enough, and my deck is gonna run over and win. He's also, at this point, used a fair few catches, and he used his Dowser Machine early on, although, as I said at the time, I think it was a perfectly valid use of Dowser Machine. And there's another catcher. He really wants to get rid of my Darkrai, which is fair enough, it's getting him 2 prizes, and at this point, killing the Darkrai probably is the better play, because the Darkrai is going to be harder to kill, and I'm going to get the Darkrai up next turn if he kills the Absol. What I would say here, though, is that the Absol's actually doing 120 damage. With the Mime out to block the bench damage, the Darkrai's only actually doing 90. So as weird as it sounds, at this stage, that Absol is more of a threat to him than the Darkrai. But of course, the thing you've got to bear in mind is that Mime might not be there forever. If the Mime goes, he's going to wish he killed my Darkrai. So I'm having a good look through there just to see how many resources I've used, etc. I've still only used that one catcher, but again, I've got a bicycle in hand, which I'm going to be able to use for at least 2 next turn. I've got an N in hand that's going to get me more cards. I'm probably going to be getting that thing. And again, he whiffs the eel, so he's got a second turn in a row there of not being able to attack. And what is glorious here, I hit the heads on the Crushing Hammer. That gets rid of his fire energy. And you'll notice his other Rayquaza is half dead. So if I can now kill his benched Rayquaza, he's going to need a fire energy in order to attack with it next turn. So now, I'm starting to feel pretty good. He has got a pretty big hand though. He's got that Tropical Beach out. So what I'm going to be looking to do is end him down to 4. Because again, I've got a huge advantage here. On the proviso that he is not able to hit a fire energy. So by playing that N, I'm lowering the chance of him hitting that fighting energy, and he needs it in order to keep going. So, I retreat to the Absol, because I don't want him taking 2 prizes off a Darkrai, and I can attack nicely and kill with the Absol. So I look through here, he's played 1 catcher, there's a second catcher, there's a third catcher. We see his Dow's machine there, so I know for the rest of the game he's got a single catcher, which means he can catcher and kill a Darkrai, but then if he kills the Absol as well, I'm forcing him into a 7 prize game, which is lovely. So, I take a prize, and I finally hit my computer search. Now at this point, I would much rather that computer search were a dowsing machine, because I'm going to be needing catchers. If I can hit a stream of catchers, I will win this game at this point. It's looking very, very likely. I'm ahead in prizes. He's got 1 Eel and 1 Tynamo down. He's got a half-dead Rayquaza and a Rayquaza with no fire energy. So if I can kill that Rayquaza and he whiffs the fire energy, he really is going to be in a fair amount of trouble there. But he's got another Floatstone on his stupid Caldeo. I'm just checking the maths there. And I'm now thinking, if I can get a Darkrai up, I can actually take my last 3 prizes. It's not really going to make much of a difference, I suppose. But I could say catcher an Eel, put 30 on the Rayquaza. Catcher another Eel, put another 30 on the Rayquaza. At which point I'll actually have taken 4 prizes, not the 3 I need. So, he's getting himself set up. He plays his 4th catcher there. And he's hit the fire energy. So again, this matchup, it really teeters on the edge here. I say again too much, I've realised. I'll try and stop that. So I put my Absol. Now I know he's out of catchers here. And he's gone to 2 prizes. So I know if I make him kill that Absol, then he's going to have to then take down a Darkrai as well. I've now successfully forced him into a 7 prize game. So I played a computer search, and at this point there's only 1 card I need. I need myself a catcher. But I'm going to have a look through the deck here. I've got and again, like I said again, sorry. As I look through my deck here, I realise I have a catcher prized. And this is a very, very bad thing. You'll notice I've only got 9 cards left in my deck. That is deliberate. This Darkrai deck has been built for speed. I want my turn 2 Night Spear, my turn 1 Mind Jack. I want to be going, excuse the innuendo, I want to be going hard and fast here. So, I'm going to catch up his half-dead Rayquaza, I'm going to kill it, and I know it is going to be an absolute minimum of 2 turns before he can take the win, because he has to kill my Absol, then he has to kill a Darkrai. Now I get a Crushing Hammer, I hit it, and again I can take that fire energy off. 2 out of 3 Crushing Hammers, that ain't too bad. I don't usually hit that well often. Now the reason I kill the Rayquaza first rather than the Eels is because I need my last catcher and it's prized. If I draw a catcher here, I'm going to win the game. So I've got 2 attackers. I miss it. My last catcher is prized, and that opens up a win condition for him. Because next turn, my only way to win, because if I just try and 2-hit EXs, he can just retreat them to the bench. What I'm going to have to do here is spend a turn junk hunting in order to get catchers back to win. Which means if he can kill my Absol this turn, and then kill my Darkrai next turn, he is going to have the win. Luckily, that heads-on crushing hammer has done me the world of good, because I've gotten rid of his fire energy. And that could well here be the difference between a win and a loss. However, he is running a little bit short on Eels. Let's say I hadn't hit that fire energy off. He can use both the Eels there to get 2 energy on the Rayquaza, and he can kill my Absol. But he would then next turn need an attachment as well as the 2 Eels in order to kill a Darkrai. So it wouldn't be guaranteed, but there he puts a Dynamo down, so if he can hit a 3rd Eel or an Electric Energy in his hand next turn, he would have it. But he doesn't. He needs to get the Fire Energy. So this turn he needs a Fire Energy and a double Dynamotor. Next turn he's going to want that 3rd Electric out or an Energy in hand so he can kill the Darkrai. So I'm just double checking here. I couldn't remember if I'd gotten rid of all this Fire Energy or not. I have. No Fire Energy. I'm in an alright position here. It's not a wonderful position. The game is very much in Nick's court at this point. Because he can win. If everything goes his way, he's going to win here. I am relying on him whiffing the KO. If he whiffs the KO, I can retreat the Absol for the Sableye and junk hunt 2 catchers back. At which point, I will win the game next turn unless he ends me and I whiff the catcher. But if you remember from when I looked through my deck, the only supporter I've got left is a Juniper. I've got at least 2, maybe 3 random receivers left. I've got a Bicycle left. And even if he ended me, I would have something like 12, 13 cards in the deck, including the Bicycle. You're talking 4 or 5 outs, and I'm drawing 2 cards. So my chances of getting out of a 1-card end here would be very, very big indeed. And let's of course not forget I wouldn't need the Juniper, or the random receiver, or the Bicycle if I drew one of my 2 catchers. So I'd have something like a 12-card deck with something in the region of 6 outs. Luckily, he whiffs the Fire Energy. At which point, I know that I've basically won the game here. Because again, the only way he can win now is if I don't have a catcher. Now I'm going to play the Energy Search here. And grab myself an energy. I've got the Absol there ready to attack. And he cannot be captured out and killed. And I've got the Darkrai with free energy on it. So I'm going to play the Bicycle. Arguably, I should have waited to play the Bicycle to give me more outs if I was end. But as you can see, what I do instead here is I play a lot of cards. I set up the Darkrai to attack. It doesn't really make a difference, to be honest. I play the Dark Patch to get the energy out of my discard. So again, I've used about 3 cards or whatever. I've got an Absol and a Darkrai fully powered. He's out of catchers, so he cannot kill my Darkrai next turn. So I junk hunt. And at this point, all I need to win the game is a Pokemon catcher. So clearly, I'm going to junk hunt and I'm going to grab a pair. Annoyingly, I could have drawn through my entire deck and definitely had a catcher to win this turn, had it not been prized, but you know, these things happen. This was a game where I struggled to hit my catchers. What is impressive is that this Darkrai list has kept me in the game despite whiffing my catchers. And against Rayeels, it really is one of those games where it's catchers that win you. All you need to do is keep a steady stream of catchers going along to take out his Eels. And unless he can keep replenishing the Eels fast enough, you are going to win. One of the brilliant things about this Darkrai deck is that with Junk Hunt, you can actually play a 6-catcher game. Now, you will have to use a turn Junk Hunting, but you can often afford to. Really here, the focus should be Absol, not Darkrai, because Rayquaza is going to one-hit those Darkrais very, very easily. So, if you can just be attacking with Absol, not the Darkrais, then you're good. Arguably, I benched too many Darkrai's too early here, but those 2 turns of attacking he missed when I took out his Eels, and the 1 turn of attacking he missed when I took out his Fire Energy really paid off. This deck, it did what it was supposed to this game. It was fast, I took out his Eels, and the Crushing Hammers got rid of his Fire Energy. Now, you'll notice Nick's basically said there that the Crushing Hammerheads has pretty much won me the game. He plays a Colress, he's going to deck out, but he's seen there, he can't end me, he knows I've got a catcher, he knows I've got an attacker, he knows he's got an easy prize on the bench. There is absolutely no way he can win this game now, so he says good game, and he's going to concede in a second. So, this Darkrai Hammers deck, it's alright. It's not amazing, it's alright. I've yet to actually play against Plasma with it. I think it would do quite well. Similarly, I think it would do well against these big basic Garbodor decks, etc., if played correctly. And I think it would do very well against Klinklang as well. Blastoise is a problem. Go see my previous video if you haven't already. And Rayeels can be a problem. But as we saw in this game here, you need a little bit of luck. But it's winnable. You saw here I whiffed my catchers, and Nick had an amazing start, and I still managed to bring it around. The catchers kind of filled in for Laser nicely here, in that they provided a nice stalling tactic. So again, I take my Night Spear there, and I win the game. What I would say is, if you're watching this video, please like it, leave a comment, and please subscribe to my channel. I have a need to be liked. I would love you, please, to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm going to keep doing PTCGO videos. Purely because I quite enjoy doing them, to be honest. I play online anyway, I've worked at how to record, and I enjoy the commentating, it's quite fun. I'm going to try and do a few more games with live commentary, where I commentate as I play the game, but they're likely to be against my friends, because you never know what you're going to find when you play online. Thank you very much for watching this. Please do subscribe at the bottom, and if you want any decks that you want me to play, if you want me to do anything particular on this channel, please leave a comment down below. Any feedback you've got, I love hearing from people. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to check out PTCG Radio.